This video is a response to a viewer question that I got on my zoo tour video that I did last week. If you remember, at the end of the video, I showed my art is available for sale in the zoo gift shop. The first step that I took to get into the zoo gift shop was to reach out to the zoo via email. I contacted them through their public email, the one that they have on their website if you're asking questions, and then I asked them, hey, who is the person who I should contact who is doing the buying for your gift shop? Because every zoo gift shop has a buyer. And what I mean by this is they have somebody who goes out and purchases products that they know will sell well in their gift shop. This is exactly the same as all the department stores have clothing buyers, things like that. It is a standard thing for a big company to have someone whose sole position is just to buy stuff for them. Sometimes the manager of the zoo gift shop is also the one who's doing the buying. So once I got the email of the zoo buyer, I was very professional in the email, also very salesy. I didn't beat around the bush. I wasn't all passive about it, like, hey, I have art, please reach out back if you'd like to sell it, that kind of thing. That won't work. You have to be like a business person to these people, and it's all about what they can make, the money they can make. It's not about that you love animals and that you want to share joy with your art, which I do. So I'm not saying that offhandedly, because I really do that. That's the main reason why I make art. But also a reason why I make art is because I want to be profitable and I want to pay my bills. And these people, their position at the zoo is to make money for the zoo, to take care of their animals and pay everybody's wages and all the things that make the zoo run and make it profitable. And so you have to kind of get into that mindset and not be afraid to be aggressive with your sales tactics. And what I mean by aggressive is email them once a week, every week, for like 2 months if it takes that, until they respond to you. And even if they say no the first time, respond again to them. Well, what are your reservations? How can I fix this? Can I lower my prices? Can I make something that would be specific for the zoo that they would like? For example, putting my art on a magnet for you, specifically only as a release for the zoo. In my case, so for this particular zoo, because I am in other gift shops and things around the country, and that's why I'm saying be persistent, because they're not always as easy as this particular one was for me. Because for Sedgwick County Zoo, it was really easy actually for me to get my art for sale in there. All I did was write a nice email, explain my pricing structure, and explain that I painted a whole bunch of their animals and that people love to buy art of the particular animals that they actually saw at the zoo, rather than something that was mass produced in China. Because typically, if you do a little market research before you actually reach out to a zoo gift shop, you'll realize that typically zoos carry a lot of items that are made in China or other countries, and they're mass produced, and they're just like generic pictures of different animals like giraffes and lions and tigers and red pandas, things like that. They're not anything unique, and they're definitely not the particular animal that was there at the zoo that the person actually saw. And so that is a huge selling point if you are painting or drawing or making artwork of their animals. My other sales point was that I also have an art gallery in town, or at the time when I got into the zoo, I had an art gallery in town in a local mall. And so I was able to set a time for the zoo buyer to come out to my gallery where I could show them how I was displaying the work and specifically give examples of my sales numbers, how much I would sell on a given weekend, what I would sell at large art fairs, how many prints they would expect to sell each month in their gift shop, because I know all these things about my products. And that's one of the things that I think made him interested in purchasing as well. Not just that I had painted their animals, but also that I really knew my product and I knew how it would sell. Typically, these buyers, they go to big wholesale shows like in Vegas or in other states where there's massive amounts of vendors there, and they come in from China and other places around the world, and they're selling goods, and they know what their sales numbers are. They know how much the bottom line is, how much they have to buy for the gift shop to be able to order from them, and how long it will probably take to sell, and all of that stuff. Of course, the one caveat here is that no one will really be able to predict how much will sell for them. But if you're confident in your sales numbers and you have something to back it up, for example, like a store in a mall. I mean, you can't support a store in a mall with employees and looking nice like the way I had mine without it making some money, right? Like most local artists are working out of their house. they barely have an art fair booth set up, and that doesn't instill confidence. And so you want to find ways to do that. Now, you don't always have to have something like that to get in with them, because I have places that wholesale my work that are in other cities that I've contacted, I've reached out via email, and they've never went to my gallery and never had the in-person tour where I sold to them and that kind of thing. They've never had that, and I've been able to get my art in those places for sale as well. So, it just depends, but I think it does help if you can put your best foot forward. And in my case, since I had a gallery, that was putting my best foot forward. That said, another thing is to have a wholesale line sheet. If you're unfamiliar with what that is, I'm going to do a video here in the future where I show you guys my wholesale line sheet, how I made it, and all of that. But basically, it's just a bunch of pages that have your work on them, and you want to have like little icons, basically like thumbnails of a whole bunch of your images that are for sale, and the price that they're paying versus the price that they'll be selling it for, your retail price recommendation. And you always want your pricing structure to be to where they are paying at least 50% less than retail. And so if you don't have your artwork marked up enough to be able to accommodate for that, then you need to do that before you contact the zoo. As well, if you feel like, well, look, like my art's already expensive and they're probably not going to buy it if it's too expensive, then you need to source cheaper products. And some of the ideas for that is selling stickers or magnets or smaller art prints, something that is cheaper for you to pay for to get made that you can mark up. I have a rule of thumb that I mark everything up 4 times what I pay for it at least. So that way, if I run a 25% off sale, I still am making a profit. Or if I give 50% off to a wholesale buyer, that I'm still also doubling my money, because it's important to have those markups there. And if you don't have a product with the markups there that are going to be affordable enough for them to sell as gift shop souvenirs, then you shouldn't even worry about wasting your time contacting the zoo gift shop buyers, because you won't get in. And a lot of times I think that's why artists don't have their work for sale in zoo gift shops, because you have to have really cheap stuff, right? Like I have 8x10 prints for sale in there. They sell them for $15. I sell them for $7.50, and I still make a profit off of that. And so that gives you an idea of what my pricing structure is. One other thing to consider is that in your pricing, you need to have room for paying for employees to make the products for you. At first, you might be able to supply your wholesale buyers yourself, but eventually, if you get enough places, and I was there, I'm not there now, luckily. I don't have any employees working for me currently because COVID hit and like all of my wholesale basically dried up for an entire year. But for a while, I had so much wholesale going on that I had to have people working for me just to supply all of the stores and things that I had my prints in all over the place and the zoo and everything. And it was a bit much for me to manage with doing art fairs and commissions and my online sales and managing my gallery. I was very extended when it came to everything that I was managing and coordinating, and I found that I was managing things more than I was making art, and I wasn't really happy with that. So that's one of the blessings, I guess, of the pandemic, is I've been able to step away from some of that a little bit. So that's one of the, I guess, cautionary things I say going into wholesale is it sounds really great, but you have to sell a lot of product to be able to make a good profit, since you're only marking it up a little bit, because you have to have your prices so low for them to be able to buy from you and for them to be profitable. So anyway, hopefully, I know that was a lot, but hopefully that all makes sense. In closing, I hope this information was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.